Taurus! I just had to sit down and share what the cards are revealing about your energy right now, because honestly, what I'm seeing is giving me chills in the best possible way. So I'm sitting here with my deck, and I asked the universe to show me what Taurus needs to know about people trying to make you reject your own blessings, about being someone's nightmare simply by existing in your power, and about how absolutely unshakable you are when it comes to intimidation tactics. And let me tell you, the cards did not hold back. The first card that practically jumped out of the deck for me was the Three of Swords. And before you panic, hear me out, because this is not what you think. Everyone always sees Three of Swords and thinks heartbreak, pain, the end of the world. But what I'm seeing here for Taurus is something completely different and actually quite beautiful. This card is showing me clarity through pain. And specifically, clarity about WHO has been trying to dim your light. See, Taurus, you've been through something recently where people close to you, maybe even people you trusted, have been subtly or not so subtly trying to convince you that your blessings aren't real, that your success isn't deserved, that maybe you should tone it down a bit. The Three of Swords here is showing me that initial sting of realization when you figured out what was really happening. But here's the thing that makes this card so powerful in your reading. That sword through the heart isn't destroying you. It's cutting away illusions. What I love about this placement is that, Taurus, you didn't let that realization break you. Instead, you used it as information. The pain of understanding that some people in your circle were actually rooting for your downfall became your superpower, because now you see them clearly. And once a Taurus sees clearly, game over. You can't unsee what you've seen, and you definitely can't be manipulated by the same tactics twice. The energy I'm picking up around this card is that someone, probably multiple someones, have been doing this thing where they'll celebrate your small wins, but get weird when your blessings start getting bigger. They'll cheer when you get a promotion, but get silent when you get the corner office. They'll be happy when you're dating someone nice, but start planting seeds of doubt when you find someone who treats you like the treasure you are. And Taurus, your Three of Swords moment was when you realized this pattern wasn't coincidental. These people weren't just having bad days or being moody. They were systematically trying to keep you small. And the moment you recognized this, everything changed. That's why this card isn't about heartbreak for you. It's about the heartbreak of illusion being shattered, so truth can emerge. Now, the second card that came through is making me actually laugh because it's so perfect and so unexpected. I pulled the Eight of Wands, and this is where things get really interesting for you, Taurus. Everyone expects wands to show up for fire signs, right? But here's the thing. When wands show up for earth signs, especially in a reading like this, it's showing me that you've learned to move with lightning speed when it comes to cutting through BS. The Eight of Wands is traditionally about swift communication, messages flying, things happening quickly. But for you right now, Taurus, this card is showing me that you've developed this incredible ability to spot manipulation attempts the second they start. Where you used to maybe second guess yourself or give people the benefit of the doubt for weeks, now you're like, nope, I see exactly what this is, and you shut it down immediately. What's fascinating about this energy is that it's making certain people absolutely lose their minds. They're used to being able to plant little seeds of doubt in your garden and watch them grow over time. They're used to being able to make subtle comments that would eat at you for days. But now you're catching their attempts at manipulation in real time and responding with such clarity and speed that they don't even know what hit them. I'm seeing situations where someone tries to minimize your achievement, and before they can even finish their sentence, you're already responding with something like, actually, I'm really proud of what I've accomplished, and I'm going to continue celebrating it. No arguing, no defending, just pure statement of fact delivered with the kind of confidence that makes manipulators break out in a cold sweat. The Eight of Wands here is also showing me that your communication style has become incredibly direct and effective. You're not wasting time on people who aren't genuinely supporting your growth. When someone shows you who they are through their reaction to your blessings, you believe them the first time now, and you adjust your relationship with them accordingly. Swift, decisive, no drama, just pure Taurus practicality, moving at wand speed. This combination of the Three of Swords clarity and the Eight of Wands swiftness is creating this energy around you that certain people are finding absolutely terrifying. They can't manipulate what they can't confuse, and they can't confuse someone who responds to their tactics immediately and clearly. And the third card that's coming through is the Queen of Pentacles. And I have to tell you, this is where your reading gets really juicy, because this queen is not just sitting prettily on her throne. This Queen of Pentacles energy you're embodying right now is showing me someone who has mastered the art of enjoying their blessings without needing anyone else's permission or approval. But let me tell you what I'm seeing when I look at this queen energy around you, because it's absolutely stunning. Picture a queen who has built her own castle, grown her own gardens, filled her own treasuries, and created her own kingdom. And when people come to her court expecting to find someone who needs their validation or their approval or their permission to enjoy what she's built, they discover instead someone who is so completely self-contained and self-satisfied that their opinions literally have no impact on her reality whatsoever. This Queen of Pentacles energy is showing me that you've reached this incredible level of emotional and financial independence where other people's reactions to your life have become completely irrelevant to your actual experience of your life. You're not asking for permission to buy the house you want, to take the vacation you've been dreaming about, to invest in the course that excites you, to date the person who treats you well, to leave the job that drains you, or to pursue the opportunity that scares everyone else but thrills you. You know what makes someone's worst nightmare? It's watching someone they've been trying to keep small suddenly start thriving in ways that make their attempts at sabotage look ridiculous in comparison. The Queen of Pentacles here is showing me that you've reached this level of self-sufficiency and confidence in your own worth that makes other people's opinions about your life completely irrelevant to your actual experience of your life. And what's driving certain people absolutely insane is that you're not even trying to prove anything to them anymore. You're not making decisions to spite them or to show them how wrong they were about you. You're not choosing success to make them jealous or picking happiness to make them feel bad. You're just living your authentic life according to your own values and standards. And their discomfort with that is completely their problem to solve. I'm seeing you making decisions based solely on what serves your highest good. And the people who were used to having input on your choices are discovering that their input is no longer required or requested. You're buying the house you want without asking 17 people what they think about the neighborhood. You're taking the trips you want without needing anyone else to validate that you deserve a vacation. You're wearing the clothes that make you feel amazing without worrying about whether other people think you're being too flashy or too confident. You're dating people who see your value without checking with your friends first to make sure they approve of your choice. You're accepting job offers that recognize your worth without needing a committee to confirm that you're making the right decision. You're starting the business you've been dreaming about without waiting for everyone in your life to agree that it's a good idea. This Queen of Pentacles energy is particularly beautiful because it shows someone who has learned to be their own best cheerleader, their own wisest advisor, and their own most trusted confidant. You're not seeking external validation for your choices because you've developed such a strong internal compass that you trust your own judgment more than anyone else's opinions. What's fascinating to observe is how this shift is affecting your relationships. The people who were used to being consulted on every major decision in your life are having to adjust to the reality that you're perfectly capable of making excellent choices without their input. The friends who were used to being able to talk you out of opportunities that made them uncomfortable are discovering that you're no longer available for those conversations. The family members who were used to being able to guilt you into making choices that serve their comfort rather than your growth are learning that guilt is no longer an effective tool for controlling your behavior. The romantic partners who were used to being able to dim your shine to make themselves feel better are realizing that you'd rather be single than settle for someone who can't celebrate your success. And here's what's truly beautiful about this Queen of Pentacles energy. You're not being mean or cruel or vindictive about establishing these new boundaries. You're just quietly, consistently, kindly refusing to make yourself smaller to accommodate other people's limitations. When someone tries to convince you that your dreams are unrealistic, you smile and change the subject. When someone tries to make you feel guilty for your success, you acknowledge their feelings without taking responsibility for managing them. The Queen of Pentacles here is also showing me someone who has learned to appreciate their own garden without needing other people to validate that the flowers are beautiful. You know your flowers are beautiful. You know your garden is flourishing. And whether other people want to acknowledge that or not is completely irrelevant to your enjoyment of your own success. I'm getting such strong imagery around this card of someone who wakes up every morning genuinely excited about their own life. Not because everything is perfect, not because there aren't challenges or things you're working on, but because you've created a life that reflects your actual values and priorities, rather than other people's expectations and limitations. This is particularly powerful for Taurus, because as an earth sign, you understand better than anyone that growth takes time, that building something worthwhile requires patience and persistence, and that the people who are trying to rush you into rejecting your blessings are probably people who have never built anything substantial themselves. The Queen of Pentacles energy is also showing me someone who has learned to receive abundance gracefully. Where you might have once felt awkward or guilty about your blessings, now you receive them with the grace of someone who knows they deserve good things. When compliments come your way, you say thank you instead of deflecting. When opportunities present themselves, you evaluate them based on their merit rather than on whether accepting them might make someone else feel bad. What's making this particularly powerful is that your comfort with your own success is giving other people permission to be uncomfortable with it, and you're completely okay with that. You're not trying to manage their discomfort anymore. You're not trying to make your success easier for them to digest, and you're definitely not willing to minimize your blessings, just to keep peace in relationships that were never truly peaceful to begin with. Moving into the fourth card, and this one made me actually gasp when I pulled it because it's so unexpected yet so perfect. The Hanged Man came through, and I know that might sound scary, but stick with me because this card is revealing something incredible about your current position. The Hanged Man is traditionally about suspension, seeing things from a different perspective, waiting. But for you right now, Taurus, this card is showing me that while other people are running around trying to create chaos and drama in response to your success, you're in this beautiful state of suspension above all their noise. Picture this. Imagine you're hanging peacefully from a tree, completely relaxed and serene, watching all these people below you scrambling around, trying to figure out how to bring you down to their level. They're exhausting themselves with their schemes and their negativity and their attempts to make you doubt yourself, while you're just suspended above it all, literally unreachable. What's making you absolutely terrifying to certain people is that their chaos isn't creating chaos in your life anymore. Their drama isn't making you dramatic. Their attempts to create urgency in your decision-making aren't making you make rushed choices. You've learned to hang in this space of peaceful observation where you can see clearly what everyone's real motivations are, but you're not dropping down into the mess to engage with it. The Hanged Man energy here is showing me that you've developed this incredible ability to be present with your blessings without being attached to other people's reactions to your blessings. You're not hanging there waiting for permission to enjoy your life. You're hanging there, enjoying your life, while maintaining the perfect vantage point to see who's really supporting your journey and who's just pretending to. This perspective is giving you such an advantage because while other people are operating from ego and fear and scarcity, you're operating from this elevated viewpoint where you can see the bigger picture. You can see how their attempts to limit you are really just reflections of their own limitations. You can see how their discomfort with your growth is really just discomfort with their own stagnation. And the beautiful thing about the Hanged Man energy is that it's completely voluntary. You're not stuck up there. You're choosing to remain in that elevated position because you've discovered how much clearer everything becomes when you're not down in the weeds engaging with every person who has an opinion about your life. The fifth card that came through is the Knight of Swords, and this is where your reading takes a turn that's going to make perfect sense once I explain it. Knights are usually about action and movement, and swords are about mental clarity and communication. But this Knight of Swords isn't charging into battle the way you might expect. This knight represents the version of you that has learned to cut through illusions and false narratives with surgical precision. When someone tries to convince you that you don't deserve your blessings, this knight energy doesn't argue or defend. Instead, it cuts straight to the truth with one clean strike. When someone tries to make you feel guilty for your success, this knight doesn't engage in the guilt game. It simply states facts and moves forward. What's fascinating about this energy is how economical it is. The people who are trying to manipulate you are used to long, drawn-out emotional battles. They're prepared for arguments and defenses and explanations. But your Knight of Swords energy isn't giving them any of that. You're delivering truth so cleanly and moving on so quickly that they're left standing there with all their manipulation tactics and no one to use them on. I'm seeing situations where someone tries to start drama about your success and you respond with something like, "I'm sorry you're struggling with my happiness, but that sounds like something you should work through on your own." And then you just leave. No further explanation, no argument, no attempt to make them feel better about your good fortune. Just truth, boundaries, and movement. This Knight of Swords energy is particularly powerful for Taurus because it's combining your natural earth sign wisdom with air sign speed and clarity. You're not abandoning your Taurus nature, you're enhancing it with the ability to cut through confusion and manipulation quickly so you can get back to the important business of enjoying your life. The people who are intimidated by you are discovering that all their usual tricks don't work anymore. They can't bog you down in circular conversations about whether you deserve your blessings because you're not available for those conversations. They can't make you feel guilty for your success because you're not accepting guilt that isn't yours to carry. Now, the sixth card that's coming through is making me smile because it's so perfectly Taurus, yet so unexpected in this context. I pulled the Four of Cups, and I know what you're thinking. Four of Cups is usually about apathy or missing opportunities, but for you right now, this card is showing me something completely different and absolutely brilliant. The Four of Cups in your reading is representing your beautiful refusal to accept the limited options that other people keep trying to hand you. You know how the traditional imagery shows someone sitting under a tree, ignoring the cups being offered because they can see something better on the horizon? That's exactly the energy you're embodying right now. People keep trying to offer you versions of success that make them comfortable. They'll celebrate your promotions as long as you don't make more money than they do. They'll support your relationship as long as your partner doesn't treat you better than their partners treat them. They'll cheer for your achievements as long as your achievements don't highlight their own lack of achievement. But your Four of Cups energy is saying, no thank you to all these limited offerings. You're not interested in success that comes with conditions. You're not interested in love that requires you to dim your light. You're not interested in friendships that only work when you're struggling at their level. This refusal to accept less than you deserve is absolutely maddening to people who were counting on you to settle for their limited vision of what your life could be. They keep offering you these cups of mediocrity, and you keep sitting there peacefully, arms crossed, looking toward the horizon, where you can see the real cup, the one that's actually worthy of your energy and attention. What makes this particularly powerful is that you're not being dramatic about your refusal. You're not arguing with people about why their offerings aren't good enough. You're just calmly, consistently, politely declining to accept limitations as if they were blessings. And that calm refusal is driving certain people absolutely insane because they can't argue with someone who isn't engaging in the argument. The Four of Cups here is also showing me that you've developed this incredible ability to sit with what might look like emptiness to other people, but what you recognize as space for something better. While other people are panicking about your single status, you're peacefully waiting for love that actually adds to your life instead of requiring you to subtract from yourself. While other people are worried about your job search taking longer than they think it should, you're patiently waiting for opportunities that actually match your worth. This card is revealing that your ability to say no to what doesn't serve you is creating space for what does serve you. And the people who were counting on you to say yes to their limited offerings are starting to realize that their manipulation tactics are completely powerless against someone who is genuinely content to wait for better. The seventh card that came through is the Nine of Pentacles. And oh my God, Taurus, this is where everything clicks into place, because this card is showing me the real reason why certain people are so desperate to make you reject your blessings. The Nine of Pentacles represents complete self-sufficiency, enjoying the fruits of your labor, and being genuinely happy with what you've built for yourself. You've reached this level of independence and self-satisfaction that makes you completely immune to the usual control tactics that people use to keep others dependent on their approval. You don't need their validation because you're already validating yourself. You don't need their support because you're already supporting yourself. You don't need their permission because you've given yourself permission to live your best life. This Nine of Pentacles energy is showing me someone who wakes up grateful for their own life, who makes decisions based on their own values, who creates their own happiness, and who genuinely enjoys their own company. And that is absolutely terrifying to people who were counting on you needing them in order to feel good about yourself. What's driving them crazy is that you're not just surviving without their approval, you're thriving without their approval. You're not just getting by without their support, you're succeeding beyond their wildest dreams without their support. You're not just managing without their validation, you're genuinely happy and fulfilled without their validation. The Nine of Pentacles here is also showing me that you've created this beautiful life where your blessings are self-sustaining. Your happiness doesn't depend on other people's moods. Your success doesn't require other people's participation. Your peace doesn't need other people's permission. And your joy certainly doesn't need other people's approval. I'm seeing you in this gorgeous energy of appreciation for everything you've built and created and attracted into your life. You're like someone walking through their own private garden, admiring the flowers they've planted, the fruits they've grown, the beauty they've cultivated. And when people try to convince you that your garden isn't that great, or that you should feel guilty for having such a beautiful garden, or that you should maybe plant less beautiful flowers so other people don't feel bad about their gardens, you're just like, no thanks, I'm good. This self-sufficiency is your superpower, Taurus, because it makes you completely unmanipulatable. How do you control someone who doesn't need anything from you? How do you manipulate someone who is genuinely content with their own choices? How do you intimidate someone who has built their own security and knows they can rebuild it again if necessary? The eighth and final card that came through is the Two of Wands. And this is the perfect ending to your reading because it's showing me someone who is not just rejecting other people's limitations, but actively planning an even bigger and better future for themselves. The Two of Wands is traditionally about planning and looking toward the horizon, but for you right now, it's representing your complete ownership of your own destiny. While other people are busy trying to convince you to think smaller, dream smaller, want smaller, you're standing there with the whole world in your hands, literally planning your next level of expansion. What's absolutely beautiful about this card in your reading is that it's showing me someone who has learned to plan their future based on their own vision rather than other people's fears. You're not asking for permission to dream big anymore. You're not checking in with the peanut gallery before you set ambitious goals. You're not scaling back your plans just because other people are uncomfortable with the size of your vision. The Two of Wands energy here is showing me that you've become someone who makes plans from a place of confidence rather than fear. Where you used to maybe make smaller plans to avoid disappointing people if things didn't work out, now you're making plans that excite you, regardless of whether they make other people nervous. This forward-looking energy, combined with all the other cards in your reading, is creating this unstoppable force that certain people are finding absolutely terrifying. They can't make you doubt your past successes because you've already integrated the lessons and moved on. They can't make you settle for less in the present because you're already enjoying what you have while staying open to more. And they definitely can't make you scale back your future plans because you've stopped asking for their opinion about your dreams. The Two of Wands is also showing me that you've developed this incredible ability to hold your vision steady regardless of other people's reactions to it. When people try to plant seeds of doubt about your goals, you're like a gardener who knows the difference between weeds and flowers. You're not letting their doubt seeds take root in your vision because you're tending your own garden of possibilities with complete focus and intention. What makes this particularly powerful is that your Two of Wands energy isn't aggressive or confrontational. You're not trying to prove anything to anyone or make anyone else feel bad about their smaller dreams. You're just quietly, consistently, confidently planning and building the life you actually want while politely declining to accept the limitations that other people keep trying to gift you. So Taurus, when I look at this entire reading, from the Three of Swords clarity about who's really in your corner, to the Eight of Wands speed in shutting down manipulation, to the Queen of Pentacles self-sufficiency, to the Hanged Man elevated perspective, to the Knight of Swords precise truth-telling, to the Four of Cups refusal to settle, to the Nine of Pentacles complete independence, to the Two of Wands visionary planning, what I see is someone who has become absolutely unshakable. You are the nightmare of people who were counting on you staying small, staying dependent, staying unsure of your own worth. You're the nightmare of people who are planning to use your insecurities against you because you've healed those insecurities. You're the nightmare of people who were hoping to control your choices because you've taken complete ownership of your own life. And the most beautiful part? You're not trying to be anyone's nightmare. You're just living your authentic life, enjoying your well-deserved blessings, and making decisions based on your own wisdom and values. The fact that this makes certain people uncomfortable is information about them, not about you. Your energy right now is so solid, so grounded, so unshakable, that intimidation tactics just bounce off you like raindrops off a mountain. You know who you are, you know what you've built, you know what you deserve, and you know where you're going. And absolutely nothing anyone else says or does can change those fundamental truths about your life. Keep being exactly who you are, beautiful Taurus. Keep enjoying your blessings. Keep planning your amazing future. And keep being the living proof that someone can be kind and peaceful and loving while also being completely unmovable when it comes to accepting less than they deserve. The people who are trying to make you reject your own blessings are going to have to find someone else to project their limitations onto because you are absolutely, completely, beautifully unavailable for that role anymore.